Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Saturday, the 20th of February 2021. The sun is shining. It's a new day and it's a new era. Future. What's the future hold? What does the future hold for us all? New aspiration, new heights, new gains. Always going to sleep with that compassion to wake up. We always go to sleep. Some of us have broken sleep. That's horrible, isn't it? When you have broken sleep, it makes you feel like you're down, depressed. When you wake up, the sun is shining. Restrictions are soon to be start opening up a little bit. Things start to be lifted. There's a thing about hospitality being open up in the news ahead. There's a lot of things to look forward to from today on. Firstly, I'd like to so much, especially our listeners, our loyal listeners that come in, support the show, a proclamation. Thank you ever so much. All the loyal supporters on Up Live, thank you ever so much. All the loyal supporters on Castbox, this wouldn't be possible without you guys. Always come, very pragmatic, etiquette, full of optimism. How I want to talk and discover, evaluate, how I evaluate what's going on around us every day. It's important, isn't it? It's important that I sit here and speak in such a time I can reach out to some of the top scientists, professors in throughout the nation, speaking in such a language. It's English language. We should all know it. We got foreign descent people coming to their country, learning better English than us, like some me and you. I still have a lot to learn. Like I say, I'm widespread when it comes to sports science as well, human biology. Um, if I knew, I pretty much know what my procurement is to get me better. Anyway, ladies and gents, it's like I said, it's proclamation news and Gavin's with the prodigious, the problem professor. We've got a few things to get through. As you know, we're sponsored by PSS Alarms. Make your your business and your household, make your safety paramount. It's very important that you protect your business. If you'd like to, I'll give you the contact details on YouTube, guys, and on Castbox. I'll write the phone number to get security alarms. So there you go. Get your business, especially your home. Your home is very, very important to get CCTV up. Not only do you have all your belongings in there, you have your children's, your girlfriends, your wife's, your mum, dad's, whatever. Important. A lot of people live each day of their life without any kind of security. I have a lot of security. Life, you have to, if you like your life, enjoy your life, then secure it. If you like your wife or your husband, secure your relationship. Make it fully secure. And we're also sponsored by network providers. The best O2, the best network device out there at the moment. In the UK, we have COVID lockdown easing. Number 10 priority is to allow more social contact. Who is looking forward to some form of social contact, going to the park, letting kids go to for a little play in the park? Everyone's looking to get their kids out, aren't they? You want a bit of respite. Your kids need something to do, need a play area or some form of normality. I mean, I think some families probably letting their kids go to the park anyway, but need to be taking safety precautions really. Reuniting families act will be an absolute priority in easing lockdown after school reopens, number 10 says. Options being considered including allowing two households to mix outdoors in the coming weeks. It comes after confirmation that care home residents in England will each be allowed one regular visitor from 8th of March. Not long now, is it? Not long. 2 weeks, just over 2 weeks. The Prime Minister has previously said that reopening schools will be the first step, but teachers' unions have said it will be reckless to bring back all pupils together. A final meeting. A final meeting is expected to be held on Sunday before Prime Minister Boris Johnson unveils the full roadmap. Any relaxing of social contact rules will be focused on the outdoors, where transmission is less of a risk. The devolved nations of the UK have the power to set lockdown. I mean, who's looking forward to these restrictions being lifted? Anyone here looking forward to restrictions being lifted? Of course you are. You know, everyone's suffering. You know, suffering in silence. A lot of people. So I say the people that can live and entertain their own are the strongest people put on earth. People that don't need people in life, live on their own, don't need no support. Strongest people in the nation. So when you're sitting there in a relationship on Valentine's Day, birthday, Christmas, that's because you're mentally focused, mentally maintained. You're prioritising yourself, your business, your plan. That's what you're doing. You're learning how to live on your own. Because when everyone's gone, you've lived on your own for that long. Is it going to be? Is it going to be impossible after that? After life? Quite possibly. I don't know. I don't know because I haven't been in that situation. I don't want to be in that situation. I'm just saying. The devolved nations are to set their own coronavirus restrictions and have been moving at different speeds to ease lockdown. In Scotland, the government hopes to publish a route out of lockdown next week. Our First Minister Nicola Sturgeon has urged people not to book Easter holidays. In Wales, First Minister Mark Drakeford has announced up to 4 people from 2 different households can exercise outdoors together from Saturday. He said he hoped to stay at home. Requirement could end within 3 weeks. Within 3 weeks, with some non-essential shops and hairdressers possibly reopening at the same time. Good afternoon there, Frankie. I'm just doing a bit of journalism, buddy. I'm on just doing my day of YouTube thing. I'll be with everyone shortly, and I'll come and if you want to chat with them, I'll be there having a conversation with the family. In Wales, that Northern Ireland's Health Minister has played down the prospect of restrictions being eased in time for Easter. A review of our current measures will take place on the 18th of March. Thank you, buddy. In care homes, in addition to one visitor will outside the visits, as well as those inside pods or being screens, will be able to continue. The government said the new measure. Take care, bud. Catch you in a bit. The government said the new measure, which follows advice from the Deputy Chief Medical Officer and Public Health England, is the next step towards normal indoor visits resuming. In our first step, Health Secretary Matt Hancock is pleased people would soon, carefully and safely be united with their loved ones. You imagine you got your mum or dad in a care home and then one visit. It must be hard for big families, mustn't it? Very, very hard. This is just the first step to getting back to where we want to be, he said. We need to make sure we keep the infection rate down to allow greater visiting in a step by step in the future. Liz Kendall, Shadow Minister for Health and Social Care, said families had been calling for the resumption of care home visits, made safe with access to personal protective equipment and testing, for 7 months. Over this period of time, ministers have repeatedly failed to grasp how important families are for physical and mental health of care home residents and the appalling impact preventing visits has caused, he said. In Scotland, care home residents will be allowed up to 2 designated visitors once a week under Scottish Government guidelines due to be published on Wednesday. It's too late for my wife. It's too late for my wife. Michael Blackstead says the new visiting rules have come too late. For his wife, since moving into a care home last July, Tricia has only been able to see visitors who wear face masks and a short period Restricted visits combined with periods of isolation with no contact other than her carers. He led to her Alzheimer's deteriorating much faster than it should have done. As a result, Trisha has gone past the point of no return. So the new visiting provisions will not make a meaningful difference for her, Michael says. It's far too late for Trisha now. 2 or 3 months ago, Matt Hancock promised on the Today programme that every care home would have this testing at Christmas. It didn't. The home Trisha is never adopted and think it's too late. Chief Nurse for Adult Social Care, Professor Deborah Studdy said, while she, kn- while she knew people wanted to hug and kiss their loved ones, lives could be put on risk. So people had to continue to follow the rules. James Tuganat, chief executive of the HC1, Britain's largest care home provider, said the move was welcome news for families and colleagues. He told BBC Radio 4 Today programme visiting is obviously a fundamental and necessary part of a care home life, and we certainly feel ready now for visiting to resume. While only one named person will be able to make the visits, care homes will have the discretion to allow more than one visitor in exceptional circumstances. Full details on the plans will be given before the 8th of March. Nadja Anmid, executive chair of the National Care Association, said she understood how difficult it would be for families to select just one nominated visitor. She added that the biggest issue for care homes would be having enough staff to manage testing and extra cleaning. Staff resource is our biggest problem, she told BBC Breakfast, adding that care home workers were exhausted and many were ill with either COVID or long COVID. COVID. I just want to say thank you ever so much, all the loyal listeners on YouTube at the moment. It means an absolute phenomenal amount of efforts and so appreciate it. That's what I want to say. And use on Castbox as well. Really, thank you. It's a short break. I'm with you. I'm listening. I'm here. The Bojo in the building. What's going on here? Bojo? Bojo's on, but he's not saying anything. Come on, Bojo. Bojo. That's scumless, isn't it? No volume, ladies and gents. No volume at the end. It's not a good look right now. Bear with me, ladies and gents. I've never seen that before. That's never happened before. Seriously, that it's never happened before, ladies and gents. It worked about 5 minutes ago. Not really what one is. I know what to do. Bear with me. I've got the plan. the man with the plan. Always have more than a few leads. So I've got about 4 or 5 leads. Little problem with the audio. Nothing too big, nothing too small. Can't get over it, we'll get under it. That is it. Oh. Play game today, does it? Doesn't want to play ball, sir. Oh, that's never happened before. Never mind, we're going to carry on without it. Oh, what's up now? We're done. That's a shame. Never mind, ladies and gents. I just want to say thank you for loyal listeners on YouTube and on Castbox. It means we're going to move on with the show. Got a bit of a hazard gone on there with the old computer system, but never mind. We're still going to move on. So we had the COVID updates, restriction updates. Stay tuned. Please subscribe to the show, ladies and gents. We appreciate it. Here we go. This is what you're waiting for. When's the hospitality sector opening up? Shops, restaurants and cafes open during lockdown 3. Under the government lockdown guidelines, shops and food deliveries are still allowed to stay open. Let's keep going in this difficult time. The Welling Hatfield Times have put together a round of shops, pharmacies, butchers, food stores and other shops that remain open. Among them are Beautiful Day in Hatfield. Some are also just open to customers who need emergency help, such as the bicycle shop in Welling Garden City, kinetic cycles and opticians throughout the borough, while others such as estate agents and libraries have shifted on. Hertfordshire runs Borrow Box, a free ebook and audio book service, which is available to use in the comfort of your own home. However, it is the advice of the government to owners and shops when it is necessary. Wear a mask and keep 2 meters apart at a time from people not in your household. The full list that is allowed to stay open includes supermarkets and other food shops, pharmacies including non-dispensing pharmacies, petrol stations, bicycle shops, home and hardware shops, laundrettes and dry cleaners, garages, car rentals, pet shops, corner shops, news agents' offices and banks, including shops doing click and collect. The interactive map is updating regularly, but if we have missed someone, please do let our team know at news@wellinghatfieldtimes.co.uk. Please also use the sidebar for full explanation of what everything represents. There you go, ladies and gents. The hospitality sector is open up. What you've been waiting for in the forthcoming months. So you come and support Proclamation News and Governance, giving you all the latest updates, what's going on around in your constituency. I don't just talk about Westminster, I talk about Essex, Hertfordshire, whatever's going on around the country. There's a crash up in Northern Ireland. Safety, think first. Man from Maldon Canal. Road in Maldon, Essex, after there were concerns. Officers from Essex and paramedics from the East England Ambulance Service were both in attendance. Sadly, despite it in his 70s, was pronounced, he's not been treasures and a file is being prepared for the coroner. Personnel remain on the site. The East England Ambulance Service has been approached for more details. Hopefully that is not anyone's great granddad or grandfather. It's quite a terrible time. Very, very tragic. Your verdicts, you know, same constituency. Have you witnessed any of what you're hearing? Essex Covid police fine 2 facials throughout lockdown. House parties and even stopped Essex residents looking for a romantic getaway. Police have fined 2 Essex venues who were giving facials and tattoos to residents in lockdown. Despite individuals flouting the rules over the last few weeks. On Wednesday, February 16th, petition treating a client in a shed behind a beauty parlour in Southend. On the same day, police found 2 customers receiving tattoos in a tattoo parlour in Epping Forest. Another clear breach on national lockdown. The manager was handed a £1,000 fixed penalty notice, and the staff was also slammed with a separate F. Love was in the air over the Valentine's weekend, but FPNs were issued to people at Stansted Airport attempting to take to the skies without no valid travel. These include 2 21-year-old women to fly to Albania and a 40-year-old woman who wanted to visit her boyfriend in Morocco. They added the same weekend a 32-year-old Wickford man was hit with a fixed penalty just after inviting 7 friends round to watch boxing on television. On February 11th, officers bust a house party in Colchester after receiving reports of loud music. Around 20 people fled the party when officers arrived, but the 11 inside were issued with notice for breaching regulations. Would you have a party? People are horrendous. People are absolutely. If you can have one friend over, keep it quiet. But having 11 people in a party, you are 20 people. You are off your head. You are absolutely off your head. I don't drink, so I wouldn't have anyone. Another outdoor party with music and even fireworks has also broken up on February 16th in Bullfane, leading to a number of FPNs being handed out. Police confirmed they've also found residents failing to isolate where appropriate, including a 24-year-old woman seeing her parents 4 days after a positive COVID test and a 41-year-old woman heading back to work in Clacton before her isolation period has ended. A spokesperson for Essex Police thanked the majority of residents staying home to protect the NHS. They added our officers continue to take a common sense approach to policing the guidelines by engaging, explaining the regulations and encouraging people to do the right thing. When there have been clear and blatant breaches of the rules, like the unlicensed music events that led to closure order on the house of Seward Stonebury, we have responded. Absolutely, Elvis. I'm supporting the people, giving them something great to listen to. I'm not just sitting here with a pretty face, because I haven't got one. We know that is really challenging time, but we really appreciate all the efforts of the vast majority of people across Essex who are continuing to do the right thing. It really is making a difference. You can report COVID-19 breaches to the police via their website by using our digital 101 service via live chat any day between 7am and 11pm. You can see the latest COVID-19 restrictions on the government website. There you go, you're getting all the updates. Getting all the latest updates each and every day. Part of the Avstocksy social elite. I mean, we get given a job in our life. You can do whatever you want, you put your mind to. You can do anything you put your mind to. If you work hard at it, in the end, you will succeed. If I'm reading that broadsheet or newscast, I've given you something to, some realism. This is realism, absolute realism. Make sure they're topped up to maximum level. Check your choice. Check your peers. So you and your passengers have seat safety belts adjacent to your car seat, and babies have seat belts adapters adjacent to their seat and to the car. Very well, thank you. Hope you're well too. Live A121 Epping Forest traffic updates as driver seriously injured after colliding with the tree. The road has been closed in both directions. More tragics, more absolute tragics. A driver has been seriously injured following a crash on an A121 this morning. The incident was reported in Wood Ridden Hill between the A104 Epping Road, by the Wake-Arms roundabout, and the M25 for the junction 26 at Wolfram Abbey shortly after 8 p.m. today, Saturday, February the 20th. The road has been closed in both directions, leaving heavy traffic building in the area, and emergency services remain at the scene. Essex police have now confirmed that a driver has been taken into hospital with serious injuries after colliding with a tree. According to traffic reports, an air ambulance was called to the scene. There are currently queues between the M25 and the Wake-Arms roundabout near Epping, Essex, with traffic maps suggesting Wood Green Road is now closed in both directions due to the incident. And relevant emergency services have been approached for further comment. Anyone see the accident? Please, if you know what happened, please call 101. Get yourself involved. See something that, is inappropriate, wasn't sufficient guideline. Own up. If you see it happen, just call 101. Anyway, moving on. More happening in Essex Live. COVID of Matt Hancock. COVID, Matt Hancock unlawfully when his department did not reveal details of contracts it had signed during the COVID pandemic, a court has ruled. A judge said that a health secretary had breached his legal obligation by not publishing details within 30 days of contracts being signed. I mean, they're up against a lot. I mean, you're going to make a lot of mistakes, I must admit. The public had a right to know where the vast amounts spent had gone and how contracts were awarded, he added. The government said it fully recognised the importance of transparency. But Labour claimed the government's awarding of contracts was plagued by a lack of transparency, cronyism and waste. The Department of Health and Social Care, DHSC, has struck deals worth hundreds of millions of pounds during the coronavirus pandemic. Wholesale Failure Campaign Group, the Good Law Project and 3 MPs, Labour's Debbie Abrahams, Green Caroline Lucas and Lib Dem and Layla Moran took legal action against the department over the wholesale failure to disclose details of the contracts agreed. Under the law, the government is required to publish a contract award notice within 30 days of the awarding any contract for public goods or services worth more than $120,000. The Good Law Project also claimed that the government breached its own transparency policy, which requires the publication of details of public contracts worth more than £10,000. In his ruling, Mr. Justice Chamberlain said there is now a dispute that, in a substantial number of cases, the Secretary of State breached his legal obligation to publish a contract awards notice within 30 days of the award of contracts. There is no dispute that the Secretary of State failed to publish redacted contracts in accordance with the transparency policy. The judge said the Health Secretary had spent vast quantities of the public money over COVID-related goods and services during 2020. The public were entitled to see whose money was going to, what it is being spent on, and how the relevant contracts were awarded, he added. He said it was important so that competitors of those awarded contracts could understand whether the obligations had been breached. The judge also said publishing the details allowed bodies such as National Audit Office, as well as Parliament and the public, to scrutinise and ask questions about this expenditure. Mr. Chamberlain acknowledged the situation faced by the DHSC during the first few months of the pandemic had been unprecedented. He said it was understandable that attention was focused on procuring what was thought necessary to save lives. But he added that the DHSC's failure to publish details of contracts awarded during the pandemic was not an excuse, not a justification. However, the judge dismissed the Good Laws Project argument that there had been a department-wide policy of deprioritising compliance with the law and guidance, cronyism. This judgment is a victory for all of us concerned with proper governance and proof of the power of litigation to hold government to account. The Good Law Project said in a statement. But there's still a long way to go before the government house in order. The DHSC said the government had been working tirelessly to deliver what was needed to protect health and social care staff during the pandemic. This has often meant having to award contracts at speed to secure the vital supplies recorded to protect NHS workers and the public. A spokeswoman added, "We fully recognise the importance of transparency in the award of public contracts and continue to publish information about contracts awarded as soon as possible." For Labour Shadow Cabinet Officer Minister Rachel Reeves called the judgment troubling and unsurprising, and the perfect example of how this government believes it is one rule for them and another for the rest of us. She added, this government contracting has been plagued by the lack of transparency, cronyism and waste, and they must take urgent steps to address this now by winding down emergency procurement, urgently releasing details of the VIP fast lane and publishing all outstanding contracts by the end of the month. More COVID updates. Thank you everyone for coming in, supporting the show. Let's see if this head's working now. I don't think. I'm not sure what's going on with that. I've never done that before in my life. How can it work for 1 minute and then... Let's just bear with me a minute, guys. Nah. Doesn't want to play ball. So we're not going to hear Bojo. I MooseCon earlier, so how can music work, but nothing else? Very ironic. Right, we're going to move on anyway. We're going to move on, ladies and gents. UK COVID lockdown easing. Number 10 priority is more social contact. Uniting families allow absolute priority in schools over. Number 10 said. We've had this statement already. I'm not quite sure what's going on with the sound system. God, maybe. High Court urged to overturn PM's decision to stand by Priti Patel. The High Court must overturn Boris Johnson's decision that the Home Secretary Priti Patel did not breach government rules on behaviour. A union says the Prime Minister decided not to sack Ms Patel last year after a report found evidence of bullying and summer code. Mr Johnson backed Ms Patel, saying she had not broken the ministerial code. The FDA union, which represents senior civil servants, said this reaction had undermined disciplinary procedures, and Labour called Mr Johnson's decision the sign of a broken. Home Office Permanent Secretary Sir Philip Rutnan resigned in February last year, saying he had been the target of a vicious and orchestrated briefing campaign. He is pursuing an employment tribunal claim for constructive dismissal. A report last November by Sir Alex Allen, the Prime Minister's advisor on standards, said Ms Patel had unintentionally breached the ministerial code governing contact. He found Ms Patel to be action-orientated and that she had felt justifiably in many instances Frustrated by the lack of responsiveness, Sir Alex added, "The evidence is that this has manifested itself in a forceful expression, including some occasions of shouting and swearing. This may not be done intentionally to cause upset, but this has been effect on some individuals." He resigned after Mr. Johnson supported the Home Secretary, saying he retained his full confidence. Dismay and anger. The FDA, of which Sir Philip is a member, is seeking a judicial review of the Prime Minister's decision. In a written submission, General Secretary David Penman told the High Court that civil servants should expect to work with ministers without a fear of being bullied or harassed. Mr. Johnson's action had fundamentally undermined the disciplinary process, he added, and the Prime Minister and misinterpreted definition of bullying in the Minstrel Code. Mr. Penman said there was a bewilderment, dismay, and anger among our membership, and there had been serious detrimental effects to workplace relations and confidence in process for dealing with complaints against ministers. He added that if Mr. Johnson's decision was not corrected by the court, this interpretation of the Ministerial Code will result in that document failing to protect workplace standards across the government. For Labour Shadow Cabinet Office Minister Fleur Anderson said, "Johnson's assertion that Priti Patel did not break the Ministerial Code is not credible and shows why she should, as both judge and the jury. It is a sign of a broken system when a Cabinet Minister is found to be bullied their staff and the Prime Minister ignores the damning findings and protects him. Civil servants should have confidence that are able to challenge ministerial decisions without a fear of the consequences," Miss Anderson has added. Yes, I can. I can see your comment there. The government spokesperson said the Prime Minister has full confidence in the Home Secretary and considers this matter now closed. It would be inappropriate for us to comment further of live legal matters. Thank you all ever so much for listening, supporting me on the show. I don't know who is on YouTube now. I think the person who is listening on YouTube has now gone. I just want to say thank you ever so much. It means a lot. I've got to try and mess about my system now, see what's going on.